If there's someone on the Oilers forward group right now that you think needs to kind of step into that role of what Hyman is left behind, like who do you think that should be?
It's funny, you were just talking about Podkolzin, and it's a guy that's got one goal through the playoffs, and you don't look at him as being, hey, he's going to provide the offense, but Hyman hasn't been providing the offense either. To be fair, I mean, he got that one game where he gets the two rush chances and gets in behind their defense of Dallas, and he had those chances, but he hasn't been a guy driving the offense like he did a year ago. He had 14 goals through 3 rounds last year. He doesn't have that. So you just need somebody who can win the wall battles. And Connor Brown, first of all, get him back in the lineup. That's going to be a huge addition to this lineup. But that third line with Janmark Arvidsson and Podkolzin, by the way, they're second in 5-on-5 goals in forward lines for the Edmonton Oilers team. And not aligned with McDavid or Draisaitl. It's Janmark Arvidsson and Podkolzin. They have 5-5-on-5 goals in the series. They are going to have to be a big part of what happens here. Because if you're the Florida Panthers, you are focusing on 97 and 29. Your defensive thrust, all your top defensive pair, your top defensive forwards, they are going to be out when those two guys are on the ice. They're going to do their best they can to get those players out there. That leaves more ice for other players. And Edmonton has done an outstanding job this season at spreading out the offense, something they hadn't done a year ago or prior to that with McDavid. I think that line, and I will say Podkolzin is going to have to be a guy that you're going to notice in this series. And it doesn't necessarily mean on the score sheet. It's winning those wall battles. It's getting the puck out of the corner and helping provide some offense from down below. And I think Connor Brown, same thing. I think it's those depth guys that you're going to look back if Edmonton's able to win this series and go, gosh, that guy was really good and he made a huge difference, because Hyman is usually that guy. He won't be there.
Thinking back to last year where it's like, hey, Evander Kane, they had to keep playing him even though he wasn't at 100%, that it eventually got so bad they pull him out of the lineup. And we were laughing, like looking at the players who played last year in the Cup Final. It's like Sam Carrick played a game, Derek Ryan played 5. And I don't want this to come off as like disrespectful to those two guys, but like they were coming in and playing 6 or 7 minutes in the lineup. And you look at this year where it's like Hyman is out. Okay, Jeff Skinner or Connor Brown was out too. Jeff Skinner comes in. He scores a goal, plays meaningful minutes, plays well. Arvidsson draws back in. Trent Frederick, like they just seem to have this layer of depth that isn't just fourth line guys. Like you're not sitting there with Hyman out, crossing your fingers going, God, this one guy needs to, Evander Kane really needs to start playing well. It's like, no, one of 6 guys could pick up that slack.
I agree. We've talked about the depth all playoffs long, all season long, and it really started to come to fruition for me when you look at down the stretch and the injuries to key players, Draisaitl, McDavid, guys that were out of the lineup, Matthias Ekholm. What happened was guys had to step up. Guys had to step up and grind down the stretch into the playoffs. And I think what that built was confidence. It built confidence in players going out and getting a little bit more. It's hard to get more on this team. Let's face it. This is a top-heavy team. So when they're rolling, they're going, or they're chasing, which they did a lot of, there's some guys on the bench that get buried, and they don't get a lot of ice time. I think Chris Knobloch's done a great job of spreading that wealth out throughout the end of the year and into the playoffs because he knew it was going to be important against another very deep team in the Florida Panthers. My opinion, the 2 deepest teams. 2 teams that just understand that they need to get production and good shifts and good work ethics out of every line. It has to be by committee. Edmonton, I would say, has a little bit of the edge in skill, in my opinion, but I think that the work ethic and down the lineup, the grittiness is pretty even. Florida's proven they're one of the toughest teams to play against in the league for the last 3 years getting to the final. So Edmonton had to elevate that. And I think to a man they have each and every series. They've gone up against some big, heavy teams already when you look at it. I mean, the Vegas Golden Knights, not an easy team to get by, not an easy team to get to the front of the net, not an easy team to protect the front of the net. They did a fine job there and finished them off in 5 games. LA, best version we've seen of them in 4 years, in my opinion, in the playoffs, that they beat them in the first round. And then the Dallas Stars are a team that, although I don't think they were firing on all cylinders, I think you have to credit Edmonton with, creating a little bit of that chaos and a little bit of that uncertainty in their lineup. They can push, and they held on when they needed to, got the saves when they needed to. So I look at the road they've taken to get here, along with the Florida Panthers, and we know what they've done systematically in their series with Tampa Bay, Winnipeg, and then Carolina. 3 different teams in that regard. But I think Edmonton's had the harder go. I think Edmonton's had the harder go to get to the final, and I think that's going to harden them in this final series against Florida because they're ready for them. They understand the task at hand. They lost last year in 7. They've got that chip on their shoulder, and they're carrying that into the last series.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.